I've decided to give you a little run through of my mental health collab spreads for 2024. I have a mental health journal, a beautiful journal, which is no longer available unfortunately, but it's a lovely journal. I love the cover. And I do all sorts of things in this journal, and I'll go through it with you one day. But I thought today I'd just go through my collab spreads. So I started out not doing any collab spreads this year. I have done them in the past in other journals. I took a break from them earlier in the year, and I got back into it in May 2024. And I was doing the one collab, and this is by Gem Plans and Letters on Instagram, and it was called the Mental Health Matters, but now it's called the Mental Health Matters Collab. And the May spread was, it's okay to let go and set yourself free from things that are weighing you down. I did this with my new Sharpie Creative markers, and I love how colourful it is. What I love about these collab spreads is that someone else sets the quote for you, so you have to think about how that quote applies to your life. And I don't know, I just enjoy the reflection. When I post it on my Instagram channel, I always comment on how it applies to me personally. So for this one, it's okay to let go and set yourself free from the things that are weighing you down. I mean, gosh, this would apply to anyone. This is pretty straightforward. Just don't hang on to things. Let it go, move on, because you're only hurting yourself by holding on to them. Then in June, the quote was, "You carried on, and that's as brave as it comes." And that really made me think about, it's about resilience basically. And I've been told I'm a resilient person. I make a mess of things all the time, but I pick myself up and I get going again. I tend to think in pictures, and so that's why I drew this series of 4 pictures, because some people in Australia were affected by bushfires, they rebuilt, they were then affected by floods, and they recovered, and they just kept on going on no matter how many horrible things happened to them. So it just made me, I thought that was a good metaphor for what this means. So resilience, very important. Then in July, it was give yourself the love you always give to others. This is hugely relevant for me because I am someone that is always trying to make other people happy, and so it's a big focus of mine, and it really takes a lot of self-reflection and thought to actually step back and go, hang on a minute, I'm doing all this stuff for other people, what about doing something for myself? So another good quote. That's what I mean, like every one of these quotes ends up being amazing. Then I had this one for August, which was Mental Health Matters Collab, and it was just one thing at a time. Really simple, which is part of the reason I kept it reasonably simple in the layout. One thing at a time. It's so easy to overload yourself and pile things on, and sometimes you feel like you've got to solve all your battles all at once, and you don't. Just one thing at a time. Just keep on soldiering away. Then in August, I picked up another collab, and this is by Journaling with Isabella 14. She's quite young, but she comes up with some wonderful quotes. This one was embrace what makes you different. And for me, this applied directly to me being ADHD. And so I thought about all the things that make me amazing because I'm like that, because I tend to hyper focus on things and pick up new skills and try new things. So that was what I focused on for that one. And that has been a wonderful new collab to join. It's quite large, there's lots of people. Then this is September, this was the same collab with Isabella, my mental health awareness collab, and the quote was, "The way you speak to yourself matters." We've all got that little voice in our head that tells us how we should behave and what we should think. And so I really like this quote because it just reminds you that you need to think about how you're talking to yourself. You'll notice that I always practice my lettering on these spreads and try out new types of lettering and new ways of decorating pages. So it's a bit of fun as well. And I love this very contented looking seal here. Then for the second one in September with my original Mental Health Matters collab with Gem, it was "You don't have to struggle in silence." Once again, these are some of my favourite forms of doing quotes, is using different lettering for each word. I just did stickers on this one, stickers and washi tape, and I love how it turned out. And the stickers I used worked with the quote because I wanted to show that the elephant had the support of all his friends there. Even if you don't have a huge friend group, just having one person to talk to, even if that's a professional, is fine. Just make sure that you talk, because struggling along on your own is not always the best option. So that was September. Then we had October, and this is Isabella's collab, the Mental Health Awareness collab. Sometimes things fall apart, but new growth always follows. And I totally believe in that every time something happens, every time something's bad or you struggle, you always learn something and it builds your resilience. So yeah, I like that one. And then this one was back to Gem's collab, the Mental Health Matters collab. "May your choices reflect your hopes and not your fears." We often make fear-based decisions or decisions based on what we think might happen or avoiding something. And I really like this reminder to think about your hopes and try and make some choices based on those, instead of just self-preservation. This was a very simple one. I just cut out, this was a card that came with a present. I just cut out features on that card, that's why it's quite thick, and a gold pen, and it turned out beautifully. Doesn't always need to be a huge amount of time or effort. You can still make a beautiful spread. This was November. Now, I didn't do the Mental Health Awareness collab in November. I had a fair bit going on and I ended up just doing this one. It was very simple. I think also the quote didn't quite strike home with me, and that's okay too. Like, sometimes the quote won't be something that hits for you, so it's okay to miss it. There's people that miss contributing to the collaboration every month, and it's not a big problem. They're very accepting groups. So this one was for the Mental Health Matters collab with Gem, and I actually contributed this quote. Gem was a bit snowed under for a couple of months, and so a few of us threw in suggestions, and I suggested this one. I originally said thriving, not surviving, and I changed it to I want to thrive, not just survive, because I felt like a lot of the times you don't feel like you're thriving or surviving, and it was more of an affirmation of what I wanted to achieve. So I like this, and this was a stencil kit that I hadn't used before, which I really liked, so very happy with that. And then in December, we have the Mental Health Awareness collab with Isabella, and that was "'Tis the season to spread kindness to yourself and others." And I think that's a lovely thought, that we can get a bit wrapped up in ourselves at Christmas, and this is just a reminder to spread some kindness around. It's a really sweet sentiment and I really like it. And then The last one for the year for the Mental Health Matters collab was everyone's mental load capacity is different. Do not compare your stress. I think in every aspect of your life, don't compare yourself to everyone else. Don't compare yourself to other people's expectations or what they're doing and what you think. I've become really aware of when people say should, like I should or you should. And I truly believe there shouldn't be shoulds in our life. We don't need shoulds in our life, is what I should say. Oh gosh, I did it again. We don't need shoulds in our life. That's a much better phrase. So this one, everyone's mental load capacity is different. Do not compare your stress, is really important because everyone's got a different context. Everyone has a different childhood, a different background, different things going on in their life. I'm stressed, the next person's stressed. Our stress will be completely different on a different level because of different reasons, and it will have different solutions. So I really like the sentiment behind this one. And so I want to close this by saying how thankful I am for these collaborations, because the quotes do make me sit down and think while I'm writing them. I think about how it relates to my life and to other people I know. So I find them really important. They're actually wonderful practice for lettering. They're fun to do. And most of all, the people that do the collabs are just wonderful. They're caring. They're there because they care about mental health, but they don't just care about their own, they care about yours as well. I've seen plenty of people share on the collab groups about things they're experiencing and getting advice, and everyone has been really helpful. But there's also that level of being real and going, hey, go look for professional help if you need it. I totally recommend getting involved with these collabs. Both of them will let new people join. You simply need to contact the people that run them. I have put their Instagram handles in the description of this video so that if you'd like to join, you can. And yeah, give it a go. Just have a play. I do fancy lettering and I get a bit carried away. You'll see from the collabs that not everyone does that, and it's totally not necessary. I mean, this was a super quick one. I've just got washi tape around the outside, I've got a few stickers, and very simple lettering in between. Some people have their weekly spread and just a little quote in the corner. So get involved. You might find your own collabs. You may have other collabs that I haven't heard of. Love to hear about them. Yeah, and I hope you have a happy new year and take care of your mental health. See ya.